Well, hello. I am Shanelle Dupree and I am a strategic connector. I am so excited. We are here for another creative conversation. And if you remember, we had one previously, and the purpose of creative conversations is to really highlight the many different creative people, places, and projects that are happening across the region. So, my entire hope is that people would hear these creative conversations and really support the projects, and then also find the courage to tap into their own creative sides because we all have them. We all have things within us that we need to go ahead and push on out. And so, I have someone special with me here today, and her name is Linnaia McKenzie. And Linnaia, who are you? Introduce yourself to us.
Well, hi, Chanel. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. Who is Linnea? I am an extremely creative person, so I'm really excited to be on this platform. Um, but I'm a mover and shaker. I'm a person that takes action. So I'm a problem solver. And anytime there are things that I feel like within my power I can do to help push the initiative forward, move the needle a bit, make progress, create change, those are the types of projects that I really kind of like dig my heels into. So when you ask the question, who is Linnaea McKenzie, I would say that I take action. I'm a person that likes to take action. So that really pretty much sums up everything that I do. What can I do to make progress?
Yeah, so I love that because you have some people who are deep thinkers and they like to, kind of think about the problem. You have some people who like to talk about the problem, and then you have some people who like to take action regarding the problem, right? And so you are action oriented. You want to get in there and address the issue, and we need all those folks, right? All those folks within our circle. So my question to you is, what did you creatively and courageously create?
Yeah. So the way in which my creative project actually emerged was exactly the thought I just described as being someone that wanted to do something. So if you recall, May 2020 was quite the time. It was a very disturbing time for our country, for our local communities, for our families, for our households. So much was uncertain with COVID and everything like that. And then on top of that, we witnessed live footage of police officers in Minneapolis killing an unarmed Black man in the middle of broad daylight. And it was after that horrific event in May of 2020 that something stirred up inside me. I decided that I couldn't sit on my couch and watch this happen anymore. I definitely needed to set an example for my daughter, who's 6 now, that when things that we don't like happen, we have the power to change them or do something to help promote change. And that's exactly what I did. So after that event, George Floyd's murder occurred, and our nation all mourned that event together. And I know here in Johnson County, there wasn't a lot going on to one, recognize the fact that that event occurred, but two, to bring the community together. So just to remind everyone, there were definitely protests happening around, and there were community members taking a stand and standing up and speaking out about the injustice that occurred. But there weren't very many community organizations connecting with elected officials to actually kind of implement things that will bring long lasting change and prevent something like that happening in Johnson County. So that was where I wanted to take action. So I started by organizing the first annual Advocacy and Awareness Peace March and Rally that was held Juneteenth weekend in 2020 in the downtown Overland Park area. And thankfully, we had you and Mark, your husband, come and speak, which both of you were so inspirational and impactful to that event. Um, and that event actually led to the origination of Advocacy and Awareness Group of Johnson County.
Wow.
So after that one event we had,
Hold
again,
on.
yes.
So, did you know that the rally would spur creating the organization, or were you just of the mind, we need to do something, and then it organically kind of came from that.
Totally 100% organic.
Okay.
Um, and that is how you know you're walking and moving in your purpose, right? When everything just aligns and everything falls into place to where naturally the next step was for us to form an organization. So when we first organized that event, there was no AAGJC in mind at all. It was just an opportunity for the community to come together, to be involved in conversations about excessive use of force and police violence, and making a community commitment to protect and support people of color in this area, and prevent that from happening here. So that was the true essence of the event. And um, immediately after that event, I at that point had a lot of connections with elected officials, mostly in the city of Overland Park. Of course, now some in Wyandotte County, some in Jackson County. And I just felt like I couldn't lose the opportunity I had with the connection I was building with
Mm.
other elected officials, people who can also help make a change. And so I reached out to the community after that event, and I said, "Hey, I need some help. I need a leadership team. Reach out to me if you're interested." And I ended up having the honor of getting 10 people who are local community members, just like you and I, who decided that, I want to take a stand. I want to stand up, and I want to be a part of the continued work you all are doing. And so I'm proud to say that a majority of those people that stood up and took a stand and joined me in this work are still working with the leadership now, 2.5 years later,
Beautiful.
at the AAGJC level. So the people who were brought into this organization were meant to be there, were,
Yes.
added to our organization for a reason, and all as a result of me saying enough is enough, right?
Yes.
And so I'm so thankful to have had them join me. And now, since then, we've had several different docu-series recordings go out to share the story and the experience of people of color who live and work in Johnson County, who had responses to seeing, the murder of George Floyd occur on live television and how that impacts our everyday lives. We've also had several different educational programming events to bridge the gap between the community and elected officials, which is what we firmly believe in. We do feel that, we need to partner in this fight with our elected officials. We can't just rely on them to make decisions.
You know,
We Yeah.
I love that piece of your organization, and that you're really focused on that, and that in the event that my husband and I were able to attend,
Mhm.
there was a police chief there. I don't know if the mayor was there. I think the mayor was there as well.
Yeah.
And so, what we forget sometimes in our passion and in our pursuit for change is that you really do have to bring a lot of people along with you,
Definitely.
because there are certain rooms that we're not in, but they're in, and they need to understand very clearly what the concerns are that the community is advocating for and voicing. So I love that that's a focus of your organization.
Thank you. And it's an interesting relationship too, right? Because just because we're working together and partnering doesn't mean we agree on every
Yeah,
single platform.
yeah,
And so a part of it is also having a conversation.
yeah.
This is our point of view, and we want to understand yours a little bit better. And what is the common ground?
Yeah.
And so that is also something that we work towards. But yeah, again, out of the origination of that one event, we built an organization, we built a coalition of people, a coalition of advocates, and we were able to gather over 1,000 community followers who also support the work that we're doing. And so I'm just really thankful.
Yeah. So talk to me about numbers are numbers,
Mhm,
and you know they're they're they have their place.
mhm,
So what I mean by that is you can have an event that has 5 people, and it can still be an important event and an impactful event, and you can have an event that has 1,000 people, and it can be an important and an impactful event.
mhm,
But your very first event
mhm.
had how many people were there?
Yeah. So for those of you who have been out to like the downtown Overland Park area, we had it at the Clock Tower outdoor space, which really can comfortably fit about maybe 50 people all standing there at one time. For this particular event, we had over 350 people come and attend. come and march with us, come to
Yes.
be there for the rally programming where you and your husband spoke. And that was really mind blowing because we planned the event in under 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
that's how eager and excited people were about coming together after that. And we wanted to just continue building on that. We wanted to provide more opportunities for the community to be involved in that capacity.
So, and for me, it just felt like people were ready. Like
Yeah.
people were ready to have the conversation. And I don't know if you felt like I felt, but there were certain spaces that I was in where people just weren't talking about it. And I felt like I was going crazy
Yeah.
because I was like, there was this live murder on TV, and how is not the world impacted? But the world really was
Yeah.
impacted. I mean,
Yeah.
it was worldwide that
Yeah.
these things were happening. It was worldwide that we were having these conversations, and I love that you're continuing to have the conversations, like you're authentic in your mission. And
Yeah.
so I think now would probably be a good time just to show a quick video.
Oh, great.
Okay, great.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Of 2.3 million people in the United States prison system, if 1% of those folks are innocent, that's 23,000 people. Everybody in this community would be doing time for crimes they didn't commit. To us, that's the modern day form of slavery.
My daughter, who is 5 years old, she will always know what it's like to celebrate Juneteenth every single year. So will your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, as well as any of the children that are in your life. So give it up for that. Today, we are celebrating hope for our future as well as theirs.
All lives can't matter till black lives matter. Give yourselves a round of applause.
So why is this history of Juneteenth important to us today? Well, the fact remains that we have numerous systems still firmly in place, some even actively being created right now, that are all about white people in power, working and maneuvering to keep their power and the wealth that accompanies that power.
But this is the enduring message of Juneteenth. We are free. Come on! That's it. We're free.
To make this a more thriving, a more equitable, and a more just Johnson County.
If you care about your children sitting in schools and not getting shot up, your power is in the ability to vote.
We want everybody to feel welcome in Overland Park.
4.5 years ago, I came home after serving 23 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. And I went in when I was 17. I came home when I was 41. And since then, Daryl and I have formed Miracle of Innocence, where we help other innocent men and women get out of prison.
Of 2.3 million people in the United States prison system, if 1% of those folks are innocent, that's 23,000 people. Everybody in this community would be doing time for crimes they didn't commit. The Department of Justice believes that at least 5% of all American prisoners are innocent. To us, that's the modern day form of slavery.
Kansas City, let me hear y'all sing the song with me tonight. Kansas City, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So third year. So next year, 2023 will be your fourth year?
That'll be our fourth one. Yes. So,
Okay.
just to kind of round out what I was saying, because that video reminded me the real beautiful like essence of this event. I grew up in Johnson County, so I've gone to elementary school, middle school, high school, college in the area, and when we weren't really talking and speaking up about police brutality and bias in policing, it really made me feel like, is this my home? Like, do I belong here?
Yes.
And seeing events like the one we held last year and the continuation of this event is showing me that, you know what, yes, like this is my home. I do belong here. And there are people who care about making a difference in the lives of people of color in this area where we are the minority. So that means a lot to me. I'm so proud of that event, and we couldn't even be more prouder to put on the 4th annual Advocacy and Awareness Peace March and Rally, which will be June 17th, 2023.
So, a couple things, because you said when the conversation wasn't happening, it made you feel like, is this my home? And I remember at the very first event, I remember you saying, I want to know, basically what you were saying is, I want to know that my community loves me back.
Yes.
I remember you saying those words, and it was like, I get that, you know?
Yeah.
So in this journey and in this process, have you ever felt discouraged or like, where are we going? What's happening? And if so, kind of what kind of has helped you through that process?
hmm Well, the first primary one is time, right? Like, in a perfect world, I would be able to lend 100% of my time to doing this work, but it is a truly a passion project. No one who has been involved with our organization and volunteered with us has gotten a dime for their work, but it has been a lot of intentional work and planning and strategizing, and that's how much we care about the mission. And so, like, one of the discouraging things has been, I don't have enough time to do everything that I really want to do for this organization, being a single mother, having a 6-year-old that just started kindergarten, having a full-time job on top of that, and a part-time job on top of that. It's like, how do I find the time to do everything that I need to do? But I've been able to definitely navigate that by being very intentional and strategic about the resources and time that we do have to push forward our initiatives. So with the support of a 10-person leadership team, we've been able to do a lot of work together. So that's been the kind of way we've gotten through that discouraging moment. Another thing is that for some reason, it is a stigma almost in our country that if you are fighting for Black lives and supporting Black people in any community, that you support, violence and riots and things like that. So there are always people who assume that if you attend one of our marches or rallies, that there's a potential for violence, for the unplanned to happen. But each of the events we've held have been family events, have been encouraging, have been a super, what do the kids say today? Positive vibes. They've all been joyous and celebratory. But we
Yes.
are going to talk about the past. We are going to talk about where we've come from, and we are going to address the work that still needs to be done. But in the meantime, we're going to celebrate the progress we have made. And we are going to bring our youth into the conversation because they are the future.
Yeah.
We're going to be passing off the baton to them. So we want them involved. So we work really hard to make sure that this is an environment where everyone is safe and welcome. Although we have had to combat, a select few people in the community who think otherwise about the event. But just for the record, this event is for everybody.
Yes.
Johnson County, near and far, to come out with your families, to learn a little bit about the history of Juneteenth, because Shanelle, I don't know if you realize, but the very first event was on Juneteenth weekend.
Yes, but it was not a federal holiday yet.
It wasn't a federal holiday. It's still not a state holiday in the state of Kansas. However, we celebrate it either way. And so we added that element to the annual event as a way to educate even further about why it's important to come together at a time like this. So with that said, we invite everyone, your families, your friends, your coworkers, everyone is welcome at this event. It is safe, it is celebratory, but we also do take time to reflect.
It is. The babies are there, and there's lots of folks from all walks of life who are present. It's peaceful, it's purposeful. So Mark and I really enjoyed ourselves when we were able to attend. Let me ask you this. So what are you working on right now? So what is this? What is AAGJC? You say it like you just flow with it.
Yeah. It's a roll off your tongue.
What are you all working on?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're prioritizing right now is a brand refresh for our organization. As you can imagine, over the last 3 years, we started as a non-existent organization, right? That, organically formed. And at that time, our purpose was kind of different than what it is today.
Mm.
And so what we're doing right now is we're actually working with the graphic design program at Johnson County Community College. Shout out to you all. They are helping us define our new face as an organization.
Okay.
So this logo you see right up here will likely be different by the time 2023 starts.
Okay.
But we're also working on establishing our modes of connection with the community, getting an email list together, rebranding our website, rebranding our Facebook platforms, and all of the above, rebranding our mission statement even. So we are getting to a place where we are really trying to establish the longevity of AAGJC. And so we're kicking that off with a brand refresh. So that's what we're working on. In addition to that, with the brand refresh, we also want to be able to announce the details for our 4th annual Advocacy and Awareness Peace March and Rally. So we will be announcing that at the top of the year, or maybe at the end of this year, as a part of that brand refresh. And then finally, our 3rd priority right now is getting as much education out into the community. And that will include, but is not limited to, workshops. So I mentioned before, we had 2 docuseries programs run in the kind of first year of our organization's existence. The first one was called I Am George Floyd, which you can look up on YouTube. That was a docuseries that featured 8 Black men who live and work in Johnson County and wanted to share their views about what George Floyd meant to them as Black men in this community. And so they all share really impactful stories about things that they've experienced, good and bad, in Johnson County. And then we did the same for Black women, called Say Her Name, where we brought together a panel of 5 Black women who live and work in Johnson County and wanted to share their experiences in response to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and horrific events like that. And so we're really trying to also educate in that aspect, as well as educate people about what power we actually have. So recently we released the 5-point plan for improving police feedback in Johnson County. And essentially we were able to get almost all of the municipalities in Johnson County to adopt a 5-point plan for ensuring the feedback process for police is available online. You will be surprised how many feedback processes require you to print off a PDF, fill it out, mail it, or drop it off at your city council or your local police department. And in today's age, that's too many steps. It should be more accessible. So we are educating the community with things like that as well. This is a policy we have the power to change. And we did that this last year. So
I love that. You're making it easy for people. Yes.
Sure. Everyone's aware about the power we have as a community.
Yeah, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I hope you feel proud about that. And so what's going to be the process to make sure that that actually happens, right? What's the feedback regarding that?
Yeah, so the one thing that we're focused on right now to keep the kind of needle moving there is following up. So we had municipalities that adopted, 2 of the 3, 2 of the 5 points, but what happened to, 3, 4, and 5? We want to follow up and hold our elected officials accountable for doing these things that we feel that are important for the community. And in addition to that, we get a community feedback all the time. And so making sure that the views of the community that are shared with us are also brought into conversations where we have a seat at the table.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Shirley Chisholm, what did she say? If you don't have a seat, you got to bring your own.
That's right. That's exactly what we've been doing since day one.
Yes, I love it. You're creating a space. And so those docuseries that you mentioned, are those available on your website? Like, can people? Okay, wonderful.
They're on the website, and then you can search them directly on YouTube.
Okay. And so you can see the website scrolling at the bottom. But listen, Linnaia was on it. It is in her background. That is the website. So we are together regarding that. So listen, how can people support you?
So we have the most interaction with our community right now on our Facebook page. So you can actually look up our organization. It's Advocacy and Awareness Group of Johnson County. You can even search AAGJC and it will likely come up. Follow us on Facebook because we post daily, every other day, to engage and connect with the community about what we're doing. As every nonprofit organization needs, we would also love your financial support. So we have opportunities to donate on Facebook as well and our website. So between following us, just staying engaged and being on the lookout for what we're doing, attending the various events that we do hold. Again, that 4th annual Advocacy Awareness Peace March and Rally, we want to see you there next June. That would be an awesome event to support. And then finally, of course, we would always be grateful for your monetary donations that help things like our Juneteenth event happen, as well as other programming along the year. So a lot of ways to get involved.
I love it. And so we know that whenever we're creating anything, usually it's not done in a vacuum. And you've mentioned your 10 kind of board members,
Mhm.
have your leadership team. Is there
Mhm.
anyone else besides your 10 that you want to shout out?
Yes. So I've got in addition to the leadership team, which you all know who you are, and I'm really grateful for you all. Thank you so much for attaching to this vision and actually helping me create a larger one that is the shared vision of all of us. This is definitely our organization now, and I thank you all for being a part of that. I also have to shout out a couple of other local organizations that supported us in our growth over the years. The Interurban Art House, located in downtown Overland Park area. They've been very instrumental in helping us with advising as being a new nonprofit organization. I'd also like to shout out Mainstream Coalition. So I also support that organization as a board member, and Mainstream Coalition has provided us with lots of opportunities to get more involved with their following and build more connections with community members. I'd also like to shout out the elected officials that we worked with over the years. That would include city council members from Roland Park, from Prairie Village, from the Overland Park. The elected officials we work with have also been supportive. Anytime we've asked for their ear, they've come to listen. And finally, people like you, Shanelle, and Mark Dupree, and people who, trusted us with that first event that really catapulted who we are today. We would not be where we are without having that first flagship event. So we appreciate you all answering our call to come speak. That was incredible. And we're very much looking forward to more opportunities to where we have people like you and elected officials come out and support the work that we're doing at events. So many people to thank.
I love it. I love it. You're building it right because you're being inclusive and you're being thoughtful and you're being strategic. And so I'm just really excited regarding where this is going to go because it definitely won't look the same
That's
that it
right.
looks today in a
Yes.
few years from now. So very excited for your journey, for everyone's journey that is a part of this. So we do something here. I'm going to ask you to do something. All right. So I'm going to put it up on the screen. And so creative stands for committed, ready, excited, audacious, tenacious, inspires, visionary, and energy. What is one word that exemplifies how you are feeling about your organization today?
I'm going to go with the V. I definitely see myself as a visionary, in addition to the plans I have on the organization level, I have a vision of what I see this community looking like by the
Yes.
time my daughters and our kids are our age. This community can be one that is truly equitable. This community can truly be one that is safe and welcoming to all people of color. And I look at the numbers. I work in data day in and day out, and I would also like to see the representation change in a multitude of areas. One being the residents in Johnson County. Right now, people of color make up under 15% of the population here, which is very low. So I want to see that grow, and it's even less for people of color holding positions of office. And so I want to also see people of color take their seat at the table, and run for office, and be our future mayors and our future city council members, and represent the board, the school board, which we have in place right now, and that number is only growing. And so I have a vision for seeing this community change in a lot of different ways, and my work with AAGJC is kind of helping to push that forward. So I'm going to go with V, visionary.
I love it. And you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision in order to move it forward. And so lastly, right, we're closing. What's your theme song? So what's the song that brings you joy, encouragement, and really exemplifies your outlook on life?
So I love music, and it was really hard to choose one. My number one, and then give you my fast follow.
Okay.
So my number one is going to be "Break My Soul" by Beyonce. That was the anthem of the summer. You know, I was driving down Shawnee Mission Parkway one day on my way home, and my first time listening to that song, and I started to get kind of teary-eyed. And I'm like, why is this Beyonce house song making me emotional? Like, you're right, Beyonce. You will not break my soul. You know, I will do what I need to do to pursue my happiness and, you know, pursue my dreams. And so, no, you won't break my soul. You will try, but you won't break it.
I love it. I love it.
That's my number one.
Okay.
And then my fast follow is "Optimistic" from Sounds of Blackness.
Okay.
Because that's a song I love to listen to at the start of every day. Being optimistic about, you know, you can win as long as you keep your head to the sky.
Yep.
I share that song with my daughter. It gets you feeling like, all right, I'm going to go take care of this. I'm going to go ahead and take that first step forward.
Yep. And so, it's just one step, right? It was literally you getting off of your couch.
That's right.
Saying, I am going to do something. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know where it's going to lead. But then you gathered us all together, right? 2 weeks later. And now we're here with your nonprofit, and you're making changes, and you're connecting, and you're changing policies. And so kudos to you for what you and the team and Johnson County is doing. I'm excited about it. Any final words?
Well, thank you for this opportunity to share. You know, one thing that we're really focused on, in addition to the work I mentioned, is networking and really building those connections. And so, if you have any interest in anything at all that we're doing, please reach out. You can definitely find our email information on the website. And we are always looking for people who have the bandwidth and the passion and the drive to help push forward the things that we are doing. And I'll just say one last time, please join us for the 4th Annual Advocacy and Awareness Peace March and Rally, which is going to be on June 17th, 2023.
All right. You have just listened to another creative conversation with Linnaia McKenzie. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Okay.